Tipper Brooks.
Welcome, Kristen M. It's that time already, Kristen M. What we're looking at here is a wildfire behind Escalante Middle School in Durango, Colorado. Fire behavior is pretty minimal. It looks like Durango Fire Protection District's on scene. They're just spraying with the hose from one of the flanks. There's nobody at the heel of this thing. So, I don't know, the fire behavior isn't really running. It's very benign. It's creeping. There's no chainsaws. There's no there's no fire crew on site that appears to be digging line or cutting line with a chainsaw or with hand tools. So that's one of the things you typically see with the wildland fire response is you see a hand crew with chainsaws and hand tools. I'm sure they're getting ready. I mean, this is a very small fire, probably 1/10 of an acre at this point. But you still need to have a fire crew responding. I'm not sure if DFPD's wildland fire crew has started their season yet. It's so early. Today's Sunday, April 13th. The time is 4:32 p.m. So this is definitely a human start. We haven't had lightning in the area recently, so yeah, definitely human start. And there aren't any power lines over there, so it wasn't a power line that started this. Yeah, I live in Durango. I'm in Durango, the Monster 420. So Four Corner Fist in the Air is not here. I'm solo. But there are other people in the area just creeping along La Posta Road here, checking out the fire behavior. There's a guy over there checking out the fire. There's a firefighter telling him to get lost, probably. Got some fire in the grass. Not sure what else he's doing over there besides telling somebody to leave. So, I'm sure we're not streaming in anything higher than 720p right now. I'm looking into some options for streaming in higher resolution in the future because 720p is kind of weak. It's just low quality, standard definition video you're watching on right now. It's concerning to me that we don't see or hear a fire crew. We don't hear chainsaws in the area. There are firefighters on the ground, but really what the tactic is for a wildland fire is you want to anchor, flank, and pinch, right? So you start at the heel of the fire. You establish an anchor point. Like in this instance, you'd probably anchor off of the river, right? So the Animas River is right here. Oh, there's a guy over there trying to stomp on the fire. How fucking dumb is that? Trying to stomp on the fire. Okay, well that's a shitty firefighting tactic, to stomp on a fire with your feet, right, guys? So if you're gonna want to like really participate in wildland fire suppression and containment activities, you need hand tools, you need chainsaws, you need some sort of scraping device such as a combination tool or a McLeod, or like if it's in the grass you could use some sort of swatting tool. But this guy is just like, what's he doing? He's gonna swat the fire with his wet shirt. Come on, guy. That's unreasonable. That's an unreasonable firefighting tactic. It's unreasonable. If you don't have tools, if you don't have long pants on, if you don't have boots on, if you don't have a hard hat, you are unprepared to fight a wildfire, right, guys? And that's what we see going on over there. That's what we see going on. So I'm very well equipped to tell you about wildland firefighting tactics, and just going over there with some tennis shoes and a wet shirt, that's not going to cut it, guys. You need to have actual tools to fight a wildfire. And that guy is, I mean, I appreciate his passion for wanting to put this fire out, but you really need hand tools. So, you're watching Press for Transparency. Time is 4:37. It's Sunday, April 13th. And yeah, they need more than just hoses. And I mean, the water can definitely knock down the flames, right, for a wildland fire. But what you need is you need to anchor in. You need to anchor your containment line to the river or to the sidewalk. There's a river trail above the fire called the Animus River Trail, and they could anchor off of that. Winds are light out of the southwest. Temperature is probably like low 70s. It's a very pleasant. The weather is very pleasant, you know. But really, it's best to have more than just like a bunch of water, right? Because someone's gonna have to mop up this fire, and you would hope that DFPD's wildland crew could respond and actually bring some real hand tools to the situation. Okay, so we see somebody putting in line down there at the heel. That's good. We see a couple people putting in line. That's good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Good to see at least some people with, personal protective equipment on scene. But we don't see any line. Like one of those guys doesn't even have line gear, right? So he's just in the structural wildland or structural firefighting gear, which is unorthodox for a wildland fire response. I'm over here on La Posta Road. I'm looking over across the Animus River, zooming in. I'm sure the video resolution isn't that great, guys, so I apologize for that. We're looking at a couple firefighters, someone else over there with no fire gear, standing around. Hey guys. So at least they're working the heel or the flank, whatever it is. I mean, the fire behavior is so benign that it's kind of hard to tell which way it's going. And it's not really going. I mean, it's just creeping through the duff and the grass, right? The fire behavior is just creeping through the grass. So, not doing much. But it looks like they got some foam. So DFPD has some foam that they're squirting. That's a good thing. That's good. Very good. Very good. We're watching Press for Transparency. We're just live streaming a wildland fire response here in Durango, Colorado. Very strange that there's only like a handful of people putting in line or working on containment. The typical strategy for containing a fire is you get to the heel, you establish an anchor point, you anchor into something, right, so that the fire doesn't creep around and get behind you. You've got very established lines around this fire already. Like the Animas River is an obvious barrier to the fire, right? And then above it, there's the Animas River Trail, which is a concrete. It's like I don't know, maybe a 10-foot wide concrete trail above it. So that's another obvious possible anchor point. But what's weird is that these guys are just like, you just don't see like a crew working together. Maybe on that north side there's some established crew, but it's really weird that you don't hear chainsaws, right? Like a chainsaw is the obvious tool that's needed to help contain the fire, right? So you'd have like a chainsaw at the beginning of the line, right? Or at the heel, like starting to cut the brush and trees away from the black edge, right? Or from the hot edge. And then behind them, you'd have diggers, ground pounders with various hand tools, digging away the duff and brush, grass, right, to get down to mineral soil. And they've obviously knocked the active fire down, the flames around this fire. It doesn't mean that it's contained though, right? I mean, really, I guess if they're going to contain it without putting in line, then what they should do is like go in behind and like actually open up the black edge so that people can get in there with their hands and make sure that it's cold around the edge. It's called cold trailing. You cold trail with your hands around the fire to make sure that the fire's out. That's part of a containment effort they could do. But I still don't hear chainsaws. A crew working to put in line with hand tools. That's kind of an unorthodox firefighting strategy here. You're watching Press for Transparency. So it looks like we got like maybe a 1/10 of an acre fire here, right next to the Animas River, kind of behind. Pretty sure this is behind Escalante Middle School. And I'm still like only seeing just people like standing in place with hoses, just spraying down the fire. That's good. I'm just surprised we don't hear chainsaws. Yeah, pretty benign fire behavior now. They've pretty much knocked down all the active flames that we saw before. They're not just smoldering duff, which of course isn't really fun to watch, I'm sure, but that's what we're doing. Just checking it out, see how these guys operate. checking out the fire. I'm sure it's a human start.